is just a huge honor for me to be podcast interviewing James Anderson, who is a practicing dentist and president of Lakeview Dental with locations in Roy and Syracuse, Utah, by Ogden, Utah. He is the CEO and founder of the nation's largest dental billing company, eAssist Dental Solutions, at www.dentalbilling.com. James frequently lectures on the business of dentistry at seminars and CE events nationally and internationally. eAssist Dental Solutions was awarded an Inc. 500 distinction in 2016. He'll probably get it again at 2017 as he grew another 1,000% last year. As the number 337 fastest growing company in the United States. I mean, man, it's just an honor to be on you. So, James, what year did you get out of school?
2002.
So you're a baby. So how old are you?
43.
43.
Yep.
I'm 54. And since I was born Irish Catholic in Kansas, let's see, I would be 11 years old when I had you. No, I'm actually not even old enough to be your father from Catholic Kansas standards. You'd have to be 38. But so let me tell you this: when I got out of school in '87, they didn't teach any business. I mean, I thought it was absurd that I graduated May 11th, which will be 30 years ago in 9 days from now, May 11th, and I opened up my practice September 21st, 87, and the first thing I had to do was payroll. And I thought, well, why the hell didn't they teach me how to do this? I mean, why do I know algebra and calculus and geometry, and I can't do payroll? And then I had to learn the pegboard system, and I thought, well, why didn't they have a pegboard class? I mean, why did they not find time to teach me this? Then I meet high school kids who just walked out of high school, and they can't even balance their checkbook at Chase or Wells Fargo, but they know algebra. I mean, was it any better in 2002? I mean, did you learn everything you're doing today from dental school?
No, of course not. But we did pull out a financial calculator and learn the present value, how to calculate that. I remember that up in Oregon. We had a few classes on it, but you are unprepared to run your own dental practice out of dental school. And I just went and talked. I lectured up at the University of Utah Dental School for their business study club, and I talked to the dean about having more business school related courses at the University of Utah Dental School that just opened up a few years ago. And he said, not every dentist cares about business. There's lots going into public health. There are a lot that are working for someone else or going to the military, and so it's not really a priority for them. So I think that's doing a disservice to all the students at the University of Utah, in my opinion, and to dental classmates, dental students all over the country. Primarily, we become dentists so we can own our own thing, right? Be independent, create something great, work hard. We take care of our patients, of course, and we're serving mankind, but we want to be independent. We want to own our own dental practices. In my opinion, most of my colleagues wanted that. And so I agree with you. It's underserved.
All these big corporate dental chains, they think linear. They didn't see the linear curve of the stock exchange from 1993 to the year 2000, and then crashed. They don't see real estate crash. So since they grew from 0 to 12% in the last decade, they think they're going to go from 12 to 24. But it doesn't jive with the fact that their dentist employee turnover is off the charts. I mean, the average kid's not even staying a year, so they want to own their own business. So walk us through the story. What was your genesis? What was your story? How did you go from a dentist drilling, filling, and billing to this new business?
Well, Dr. Farran, I actually watched your dental MBA tapes before I opened up my first practice in 2003.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. I loved them. They were actually VCS tapes, right? Dr. Pete Weber had them, and
Did you have to go to your grandma's house to find a VCR?
No. They were still around. And I remember watching, and I remember you said something that rang a chord. You said, if Coca-Cola has to spend so many $1 million on marketing, why do we think as dentists we don't have to? And I think you said you got to at least shoot for 3% of what you're producing or what you're collecting. I can't remember the number. And that rang true to me. And so I had enough courage after listening to your tapes to start my first dental practice. And then I started 9 after that. And I sold them to dentists. So my goal wasn't just to start them and then like a chain. I wanted to do a turnkey so a dentist could have an opportunity to buy the dental practice and own it outright. And I have 2 now that I still run myself and have a couple partners. But I realized how enjoyable it was to do dentistry, except for the turnover you get in the front office staff sometimes when key people leave. So I had the best office manager around in 2003. Her name was Jen Harvey. She doesn't mind that I use her name. She's fantastic. And she really helped my little practice grow. From day one, we made money. And so I know there are a lot of new dentists that listen to these podcasts. My point is, you can do it. You can start your own dental practice. You don't have to buy someone else's mess, in my opinion. You can start clean, and you can find the right people to make it work. It's challenging, and you have to grow, and you have to, I think, spend a lot of time on your knees too. You got to make things happen, and you got to find the right people, and you're going to have problems you got to pivot with. And so Jen came in, and we grew from 30,000 to 70,000. We collected 700-something-thousand in our first year. It was because of Jen Harvey, 1 year. And but then her husband was in the military, and he got transferred, and I was in trouble. She was with me for 4 years, maybe 5 years, and we were in trouble. I thought I could find someone to replace her. I went through 6 different office managers. I became like the hatchet guy. I hired and fired them because I was so worried. My receivables went from 100,000 to 150,000 to 200,000 to 250,000. I couldn't find people in my community that knew how to not only run a front office, but also post the EOBs properly, send of course send the claims properly with all the narratives that are required, and then appeal the claims. Sometimes you have to talk to supervisors. Sometimes you have to be creative to help them understand why this was necessary. You just have to be organized and on top of it, all the while keeping the schedule full, presenting treatment plans, managing the staff like you want your office manager to do. And it was a disaster for me. I couldn't find someone to replace her. And that's when I realized we've got to find a different way. I don't have enough room in my dental office, but I can take 2 people out of the dental office, create some type of HIPAA compliant environment where they can connect to my office because I don't have enough workstations here, and have them process all of that. I don't need people to be able to. These people don't have to answer the phone. They don't have to interact with patients. It's like a different personality, right? You want them to be tougher with the insurance companies. You want them to be more organized. I had patients who said, "I love your practice, Dr. Anderson, but your billing's all messed up. Your ledgers are wrong." There was a box of EOBs underneath the desk of the office manager, like a disorganized box of EOBs.
Explain what an EOB is to a young kid.
An explanation of benefits. So whenever an insurance company is going to pay on a claim, they'll send an explanation of benefits plus a check of all the patients that you have billed out that use that insurance on one piece of paper, or 2 or 3, however many it takes, with one check. That is a summation of all the credits that the insurance company owes you, and they also send that to the patients individually. And so and there's adjustments that have to be made. There are sometimes they deny claims for whatever reason, and so your office manager has to go through and appeal every single claim that was denied, and properly adjust for all of your adjustments on the ledgers. You got to have you got to know debits and credits and put on your accounting hat, and not be bothered by the phone that's ringing and a patient that needs a treatment plan. Once you get interrupted in the middle of what you're doing, if you're posting your EOBs properly to the ledgers, you got to be undisturbed, right? If you're doing sophisticated accounting, and if you mess it up, you're messing up someone's ledger. It's like a bank messing up your ledger, and that happens all the time in dental practices all over the country. And so I hired 2 people. I broke it down into steps. It's like I had to ask my office managers, what do you do every day? How many claims do you send? How many claims do you appeal? Why are you seeing claims being denied? And I had to create a daily report system because they were working remotely off-site, where I would get an email every day, and it would tell me what they were doing, specifically breaking down into individual steps what they did to solve every problem. By me focusing on metrics and allowing them to send me, to hold them accountable by sending a report every day, I knew they were working. I knew I didn't have to yell at them just because the numbers weren't coming in. I knew I could focus on those things they're called leading indicators instead of lagging indicators. I could focus on important behaviors that were required for us to accomplish the goal. And that's what we did. My receivables dropped from 250,000 down to 100,000. I had to write off about 30,000 of it due to timely filing issues. For the new dentists that don't know, timely filing is if you usually have 12 months Sometimes with Medicaid, you have like 90 days. Some insurance companies, you have 24 months. It just depends. To actually send the claim with all the proper documentation and to have it appealed if you need to appeal it. If you miss those cutoffs, the insurance companies don't have to pay you legally. And so we had to write off some of that for timely filing, but we solved our problem. And then I had a classmate who said, hey, I have the same problem. He was up in Boise. Can you help me? And I figured out a way to make it so it wouldn't have to be me doing it. It could be, we send them all a scanner, and it's the information stored on their servers, not ours, but our HIPAA compliant VPN. We spent about $500,000 in building the software that allows us to make this all work. And so I had another classmate, another associate of mine, who left and said that I have the same problem. And then we went on the internet and went to the Utah Dental Association, and that was 2009. And we've been growing leaps and bounds ever since, solving dentist problems around the country. We have dentists in almost every state in America that use us, and in Canada. Our core product is dental billing, but our goal is to make it so that dentists don't have to sell out to large DSOs and to corporate chains. There are economies of scale that these corporations get when they have centralized billing. And so we become a centralized billing system for dentists, so they don't have to hire someone who's a superstar. They can find someone who is a good treatment plan presenter and can answer the phone well and collects patients' copays. And then we handle the heavy lifting on the back end, so that the dentists are never concerned about turnover anymore. If you get embezzled from, we're always there on the back end to solve the problem. You don't have to hire the next warm buyer that comes through because your insurance checks will always be processed. It's Adam Smith's concept of division of labor. If you ever read, I recommend young dentists to read The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, right? I know you've read that, Howard, but it's an important concept.
I saw his statue in his birth home in Scotland. It was so good to show that to three of my boys because it's such an airy, weird story. Two 32-year-old Scots in 1776, one writes the Declaration of Independence, free markets, and one writes the Wealth of Nation, free economics. And it was really the first time free markets and free people collided. That was America. America was the nuclear explosion of free markets combining with free people. And now, a quarter of a millennium later, you got a $70 trillion global economy, and 19 trillion of it's right here in America, where only 5% of the people live. How many clients do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
No problem. We have 416 active clients right now. Those are dental offices. Often they have 2 or 3 extra dentists. And we have like 37, 39 that haven't launched yet. It usually takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 4 weeks to launch a new client. That's our dental billing system.
Now, when you're working with a dentist client, do you like integrating with some practice management software is better than other? I mean, probably a third have Dentrix, a third have EagleSoft. There's Open Dental. Is any of them easier? You spent $500,000 building this software. Do your software people, do they like interacting with some practice management softwares better than others?
No, we interact with all of them, including specialty softwares like Dolphin and the oral surgery softwares that are out there. We have our software, primarily our service is a service. We have 300 active office managers who do this for us using our software, but connecting to the dental offices working. So 300 employees, right? And these people have been in business, usually in dental offices, for at least 15 years experience. They know what they're doing. There's a series of stringent screening examinations that they have to pass before they ever come on board. And if any office manager is listening to this podcast, you can go to dentalaccounting.com or dentalbilling.com and click on careers and see if you actually can take the test and pass the test. If you're a dentist and you want to know what your front office person should be doing, have them log on and take the test to see if they pass the test. If they don't pass the test, then they're making a mistake.
Okay, my homies right now, most of them are driving to work. They got an hour commute. So they're driving. So if we go, I want you to post that test on Dentaltown. So if we go to Dentaltown, we got 50 categories: root canals, buildings, crowns. What would you want to post that on? What category? Would you want it to do? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it could be finance, but personal. That's more personal finance and taxing. Let's go to practice management.
It would be HR, like your office manager screening the skill assessment test for the office manager that you have, or
so
potentially want to hire.
Under practice management, we have front office discussion, ideas to make your practice grow, practice management administration form, or staff management issues. Would you want to?
I think staff management.
Oh, okay. So why don't you post a link to that test, and so people don't think you're spamming the board? Say some short, fat, bald guy from Phoenix asked you to post it because they don't know this stuff, and they don't know what they don't know, and it just makes me nauseous when they go to every bonding course known to man, and all they want to take notes on is the wear rates and bonding strengths of composites. Like, really, dude, is that your problem? All your fillings wear down and fall out. Pretty sure that's not your problem.
I agree.
Pretty sure that you signed up for 12 PPOs and you're losing money on 4 of them and you don't even know it. And my deal with bonding aids, I mean, Ivoclar and 3M each sell $1 billion worth of this stuff a year, and both of them have 75 to 100 PhDs, and it always takes them like 5 years and $5 million and 50 PhDs to make a bottle of glue. Wouldn't you just assume it's pretty gluey?
It's got to be good.
It's got to be gluey. So and the same guy saying that doesn't know that every time he sees a patient from Blue Cross and Blue Shield PPO, he loses 8% on the whole deal. Mm-hmm. So is this helping their profitability? Is this helping them to make sense of how they're making money or losing money?
Yeah, absolutely. So our service is built on. As a dentist, I do not like the dental outsource groups or dental services that require a contract of any kind. If I've got to add value, if I'm going to do something for a client for a dental office, whatever money they pay me, they've got to make at least that much money back, if not more, right? So if they're going to pay me $1,000, they're going to make $2,000 of extra money they were never making before. And so we don't have any contracts. It's all month to month. We earn your business every single month. We either add value.
Damn cool. That is a huge red flag. Right. Some consultants say, give me this much every month and I'll be your best friend. Other ones say, no. We got to get married. We got to sign. We got to get the lawyers involved. We need a contract. That's so cool that you're contract free. Is that just because you hate lawyers, or you really like to earn their business?
My wife's a lawyer, right? So
you're sleeping with a lawyer?
I love her. She's great. I love my wife.
What kind of law does she do?
She's home with the kids, right? But she's on the city council right now and having a good time. So she's never really practiced after dental school, but been a great partner for me all these years.
So you like all the practice management softwares out there?
Yeah, we can use any of them. That's right.
So I'm confused about one thing with you. You have 2 websites. You have dentalbilling.com and you have dentalaccounting.com. What's the difference if my homies go to dentalbilling.com versus dentalaccounting.com? What's the difference there?
You bet. Great question, Howard. Our core product is dental billing. And we do, like what I mentioned, we send all the claims, we post all the EOBs, we follow up on all the denied claims. If you're over 90 days, insurance is not 0, then you need to either bring someone more on your team. You need to bring another person on your team to make it go to 0, or bring us on your team, right? You're over 90 days insurance. That's the secret. You got to get it to 0. Dental accounting is our second product.
Can I just say one thing to the kids about this? Imagine, kids, that you have a business and you do $1 worth of business a month, but no one pays you for 90 days. So you would have to have $3 in your savings account to pay for January, February, March, because you're not going to get your money for 90 days. And when you study personal bankruptcies, about $60,000 a year of them are for medical bills. When you study business bankruptcies, the majority of the businesses are profitable businesses. They just ran out of cash because they're not getting their money for 90 to 120 days. So what do you think the average over 90 day is in dentistry? And of the 400 plus offices that called you, what were their over 90 when they started with you? Then what did you get them to?
We've seen people as high as $4 million over 90 days insurance. And that's usually because a bunch of money came in and it was never posted to the patient's ledgers. Just a disaster, an accounting disaster, right? And on average, it's $50,000, sometimes $100,000. These are insurance monies that should be paid as long as the dentistry was necessary. And as long as the patient actually had the insurance plan that you submitted, that you claimed that they had when you submitted the claim, that money should be paid. Our goal is that all of our clients, it should be around zero. It vacillates back and forth. Sometimes it goes to 5,000, 10,000, back to zero. But we focus on
that's why you don't
30
need a
to 60,
contract.
69.
What are you charging these
Yeah, right.
dentists a month for dentalbilling.com?
Okay, so right, it's a variable. We utilize the bigger they are, the lower the fee. It's all based on how much we collect from the insurance company. So we charge 3.5% if the office is between 40,000 and 100,000 in insurance collections, not total collections, because we want your staff to be free. If we're doing the insurance part and posting the claims, they should be able to present treatment plans and collect the copay before the patient leaves, right? So you focus on that with your staff, have them do that. We become their assistant to make them look really good so that we're collecting all that you get from the insurance company. They're collecting all that you should from the patient at the time of service. And so we charge 3.5% of insurance collections only if it's between 40 and 100,000. If it's between 100 and 150, we drop it down to 3.0% of insurance. And if it's over 150, we drop it down to 2.5% of insurance. The bigger you are, the easier it is for us to scale. So when we call Delta Dental and appeal a claim, we might be appealing 5 claims instead of 1. So the bigger you get, the cheaper it is for us. We pass those costs on to you. I'm a practicing dentist, right? I don't want dentists. I want dentists to be able to enjoy, like I said.
So I need this. She's driving to work right now. I want a specific, hold your feet to the fire question. If her office collects $100 a month, what should her over 30, over 60, over 90 be? And when she pulls up to work, and let's say she's on the number one, the largest market share, Dentrix, owned by Henry Schein, how would she find out what her over 30, 60, 90 would be on Dentrix? And what should it be?
So if you're producing just $100 of insurance, your over 90 should be 0. Your over 30 is going to be really high because it depends on how much you're producing that day. Or that month. So if you produce all 100 that month in the last 30 days, it's all going to be an over 30. If you're producing half of it, and some of your claims are harder and need to be appealed, like a crown or a root canal, and the narrative was denied, it's going to roll into 30 to 60 and 60 to 90. And so it really is variable, in my opinion, from our experience, what we've seen. If you are a big producer and you never have to have anything appealed, most of your stuff is going to be in the 30-day, in the 0 to 30-day category.
Hey, you know that whiteboard presentation on your website that's on YouTube?
Yeah.
I really like that. Can I put that at the end of this podcast and then your Inc. 500 interview? Because I think to show your legitimacy, I mean, your Inc. 500. So can we put those 2 videos? Is that a licensure problem with YouTube? Or?
No, as long as it's not copyrighted music, if it's already on YouTube.
Yeah, we only get in trouble when people put a copyrighted music song on their deal. You can't have the Red Hot Chili. So can we do that? So my homies.
Oh, please. Okay. Oh, please do. And there's another video too. Kathy Ireland reached out to us, and on our website there's another video with Kathy Ireland and myself and Sandy, my partner, there. But it's on the website.
Inc. 500 interview?
Yeah, it was after we made the Inc. 500. She then reached out to us.
Why don't you email me, howard@dentaltown.com, the links to the YouTube videos we'll tack on the end.
Okay.
Because that's informative.
Okay. So to finish answering your question, so you're going to look at about, depending on how sophisticated your dentistry is and whether or not it's just cut and dry, most of it's going to be between 30 and 90. I'm sorry, 0 to 30. And then you might have some that roll over from 30 to 60 that are in appeals. Or like sometimes you see, if you use electronic attachments, for instance, or electronic processing, sometimes the processing center will say that the insurance company received the claim, but when you call the insurance company, they'll say they never received it. It's the strangest phenomenon. It happens all the time. Same thing happens with electronic attachments. And even when you print off x-rays and send them in, you might call them up and 30 days later to appeal a claim that hasn't been paid, and they'll say, we never received the attachments. We had a true story where someone was using NEA for electronic attachments. And if someone doesn't do electronic attachments, we help you do all that so that you're paid faster. But NEA is like the powerhouse, right? So on the bottom of the claim form, we put an NEA fast attached number, which is a national database that you can then access and see the radiograph. And every insurance company knows how to do this. This lady denied the claim. This insurance company denied the claim and said that they never received the X-ray. When we called them up, we told them, well, look at the claim box. It's an NEA fast attach. And she came back on the phone 5 minutes later and said, yes, we have the claim. So those kinds of things will happen. And if you're not following up on a regular basis, these claims will easily slip into the 30 to 60 to 60 to 90.
Not to be a
overnight.
cynical bastard, but don't you think a lot of those insurance companies, they only have the reserves to pay so much money a day, week, month in claims, and when they reach their limit, they just start denying stuff? Do you feel that, or do you think that's too cynical to think that way?
Well, we see it in December of every year. They always seem to hold claims a little bit longer.
Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, all the time.
And I also
so
want to
you
say
got to
one
be
thing.
a pain in the.
I also want to say one thing, because dentists are, dentists are smart. I mean, they got 8 years of college. They know math and physics and chemistry. I've had the Townie meeting in Vegas every year for 15 years, and nobody caters to a dental meeting or engineer or lawyers or physicians because they don't gamble. You got to be kind of dumb to go lose all your money on the blackjack table. So dentists are smart. And when you said 3.5%, a lot of people probably cringed and said, I'm not doing that. What they don't realize is that the average overhead in dentistry, 28% is paid on labor, and I've seen a lot of really good math that you got $5 to $15 of labor in every claim that you make. Do you agree with that or disagree?
Well, I totally agree. We are, like, if you're doing 40,000 or 50,000 of insurance, you're paying us. You can do the math. It's about $1,250. It's about $1,300. That's less than
if you're doing what, 40 a month?
Yeah, let's say you're doing 40,000. Times that by 3%, 3.5%. Is that 12,500, 1,300? I mean, you tell me. You try to find an office manager that knows how to do all these things in a small community, that'll work for $1,300 a month. And bring in more money than what you're actually paying them. And if the money doesn't come in, let's say you submit a claim and we appeal it and it doesn't get paid, you don't pay us a penny, right? If we don't get, it's like proof is in the pudding. If we don't get the payment, we don't get any money either.
So back to that office doing $40,000 a month. If you charge 3.5%, that's $1,400 a month. How many claims do you think that would be?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends on how small your claims are. If you're doing lots of crowns and depending on where your fees here in Utah, like I just did 2 MODs today for $91 a pop. So that would be a lot of MOD claims.
Yeah.
Here in Utah, right?
Well, the point I'm making is, what do you think the average claim be? Because then you could take that $1,400 by the number of claims, and you'd see your labor costs. I mean, I'm trying to make the point that if you don't want to pay you 3.5% to have it done right, you're definitely going to pay a human being labor, and labor is the second largest expense in dentistry. You know what the first largest expense in dentistry is?
What's that?
Adjusted production. I mean, you go in these offices, they're averaging 42% from this is what I did, this is what I adjusted off for insurance. So adjusted production is about 42%, labor is 28%. When I get out 30 years ago, there pretty much was barely any adjusted production. Now it's greater than labor, and it doesn't even show up on an accounting sheet. So on your P&L, your statement of income, there's no adjusted production. It just starts with revenue. But that revenue from what your actual fee was is 42% less.
Well, most of our clients that come on board don't replace an office manager. Some do. Some are like, I just fired my office manager because she just embezzled from us, or my wife's tired of doing this, and she needs an assistant. In those cases, like we always break even for the client. Most of the time we bring in more money for them than what they're already paying us because we're actually getting claims paid that they were not getting paid before in the past. But sometimes we come on board. It's the Adam Smith idea of division of labor, like I alluded to about 20 minutes ago. Remember in his book, he said, if you have one guy who can make a pin and it takes him all day to make 10, the idea is if you divide the labor so that one you hire 3 people instead of 1, and one person will make the head of the pin, the other person will make the shaft, the other person will package it all together and ship it out. You might be able to make 100 pins in the same amount of time instead of just 10. So sometimes when you hire someone else and spend more money, look at us as another employee expense, like you just described. The idea is that you should add benefit so you produce more. If not, don't do it. And that's why we don't have any contracts. Like we earn our business month after month to solve our clients' problems.
Okay, you have a lot of language on your website that my homies don't understand. Explain the difference between a leading indicator or a lagging indicator that helps track your progress in a dental office.
Okay, so I think one of the mistakes I made as a rookie dentist, a brand new dentist owning a dental practice, was I led with a lot of fear. Like I would look at the daily production, and I would say, "Come on, guys, let's get the production going," and that's considered a lagging indicator. It's something you can't really, like a behavior you can't really promote. Instead, it's something you want to accomplish. That's a lagging indicator, and often as dentists, we lead with lagging indicators. But there's a concept called a leading indicator, where if you can break down what good behaviors you want to promote by different staff members, like for instance, if you want your assistants to offer nitrous to every single patient, and you start tracking that, that's a leading indicator. And so instead of yelling at them for getting low production or whatever, like a lot of dentists do, because you're just stressed and you got a bunch of debt, and you're trying to solve problems, and you're trying to relieve the staff. Dentistry's tough anyway. You now can focus on leading indicators, things that like good behaviors you want to promote. Like another good leading indicator would be your hygiene utilization rate. How often do they cancel? And you then focus if you start measuring those kinds of things, you then focus your staff's attention on those behaviors so that those metrics improve. And if you start to see that, then of course your lagging indicator, your production will, and your collections will increase. That's the concept. I got the idea from the Franklin Covey Group's 4 Disciplines of Execution. It's one of the best business books I've ever read on executing strategy. The 4 Disciplines of Execution. I highly recommend
He lived out
every
there in
dentist.
Utah.
Yeah, Sean Covey did. Stephen Covey did.
Stephen Covey did, and he just died. He fell off his mountain bike last year and bumped his
Yeah,
head.
he was sharpening a saw. He went out with his boots on.
Wow,
Rest
poor,
in
that guy
peace.
was a legend. I love that guy. So you talked about dentalbilling.com. You said that's your flagship business. That's
Yep.
your core competency. What about your other website, dentalaccounting.com?
Thanks for Howard for asking me. So there's a problem in dentistry where I never had access to my books. My accountant had them somewhere, and I went through 8 different accountants over my 14-year history, trying to find someone that I felt like was doing a good job and giving me a profit and loss statement when I wanted it, was properly classifying things, and so we built another product called Dental Accounting, and we switch everyone over to QuickBooks Online that joins us for free. We pay for the QuickBooks Online transfer, and we also pay for the most part, and this is very complicated, if you have 3 or 4 or 5 bank accounts, then there's an extra fee. But we had one client that had 18 bank accounts. But we also pay the monthly fee. So now a dentist has access to their books at all times using QuickBooks Online. They can log in and see what the accountant sees, what the bookkeeper sees. They can see things being balanced. But more importantly, the reason why we did this is because our software, we created some APIs. It's an acronym for how applications talk to each other on the internet. To go and help us address a problem that dentists don't even know they have. Most insurance companies now, in 2017 and going beyond, don't send checks anymore. They send electronic fund transfers, EFTs, into your bank account. At least you hope it gets there. All they'll do is send you an email saying that the EFT payment was put into your bank account, or you have to log in, like in MetLife's case, you have to log into MetLife in certain areas of the country and check to see if the EFT payment actually went into the bank account. So if your office manager, if you don't have eAssist and your office manager is posting and they log in to post, they log on to MetLife's website, MetLife says, we have submitted the deposit into your bank account. And then that office manager goes in and posts on the patient's ledger that the payment was actually cleared. You don't know for certain that it went into your bank account. There are so many horror stories where if you have an old associate that used to work for you, or if there's a pharmacy close by that has a similar name, sometimes insurance company processors will send the wrong check to the wrong dental office. I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. And we see it all over the country. So if you ever had an associate working with you in the past, most likely you'll be getting payments from that your insurance company for that doctor sometimes, and vice versa. Even in other situations, we had a pharmacy close by who was getting checks from us because the mailman thought that they were a dental, that it was us. It was Delta Dental, whatever, and they were getting checks. The point is, it's important that your EFT transfers get double checked. And so you have to let your office manager do 2 things. You have to let them log in to your QuickBooks or your bank account to verify that those payments have cleared the bank before they post them to the patient's ledgers. I don't recommend you do that. Most of the time, they'll be asking for a raise, right? So you don't want to have your office managers logging into your bank account. The other option you have is what we've created. You could do it. You could log in, or your wife could log in, or her husband could log in. You could do it, or someone you really trust to verify before they're posted. Or our system, our service, standalone product, will actually, once you've moved over to QuickBooks Online, our software goes in through an API, extracts the information from all the insurance companies in QuickBooks Online, repackages it in a HIPAA-compliant email, and sends it to your office biller and CCs you, so you can see all the EFT payments that have actually cleared the bank. And at that moment, you can take that to the bank. You know that those payments have cleared. Your office manager, whoever's posting, if it's eAssist, will do it, or your office manager's posting, can then post those ledgers properly to know for certain that that money is in your bank account. It's huge. Otherwise, you have an accounting nightmare.
You know what would be your best marketing on that?
Yeah, what?
So, Dentaltown, on the 50 categories, the top category is My Private Groups. You ought to start My Private Group, because when you start a private group, whoever starts it is the one who lets people in or not. So you could just let in your person. So now you'd have, we've had 5 programmers on Dentaltown from 1998 to now. So it's 500,000 lines of code. I mean, I can't tell you how much 5 programmers have cost for 19 years. And you have all that functionality for free. Then all your accounting people could get on there and you could start sharing numbers. In fact, it'd be a great article for Dentaltown magazine. How many clients do you have on the accounting? You got 100?
No, we just launched it. We have 15. We just launched it. So
but as your sample grows, then you would have real good data to say, okay, dentalaccounting.com has, we're starting out with 15, but then they could start, you could start benchmarking data to say that this was the average labor, lab, supplies, and then as the pool got to 1,000, then you could start addressing questions like, well, what happened to the lab bill of everyone who got CAD/CAM? Or what does the average person spend on advertising and marketing? But this could be a data gold mine if you got a sample size of 1,000, and it looks nice. I see the price. If you're under $40,000 a month, it's only $349.
Yeah.
If you're 40 to 100, it's $399. If it's between 100 and 150, it's $529. If you're over 150 a month, it's $699. You know where the only thing I'll disagree with you on is that that $699. You know why everybody thinks they should say $699 instead of $700? They think it's this psychological thing that $699 sounds cheaper than $700, but that's not. The economic psychologists say it's not true. But you know where that $699 came from? It was an internal control over embezzlement. So back in the day, the owner of the store would have a cash register, and the cash register measured the transaction. So he made everything 99 cents, and then busted open a roll of 50 pennies. So at the end of the day, if you only had 20 pennies, he knew you made 30 transactions. So it was one of the methods to control against embezzlement. It was a way to count transactions which you needed in your equation.
Well, we just bumped our price up $1. So
yeah, because that's how that comes from.
What that does, the bookkeeping service includes bookkeeping, right? Balancing your books too, that your accountant's supposed to do. And you can keep your own accountant, your own CPA. If you don't have a CPA, we have CPAs all over the country that will use us now. That can use or that can service you.
How many of those CPAs are heavily weighted in dentistry, or even exclusively dentistry?
Everyone. So we only focus on. There's an academy of dental CPAs that we've become associated with, and we're looking forward to that relationship continue to grow. So we just launched this product, and this is the vision. This is a problem in dentistry that we want to make sure is solved. And so at a very affordable price, we will balance your books. You have access to your QuickBooks. We'll even do payroll for you at an extra fee if you want to. You have access to a dental.
Can you post that list under your post of the accounting?
Sure.
You might want to start another one under accounting, because this has been a pet peeve of mine for 30 years, telling you can't be a client of a CPA who hangs up the phone and then talks to a dairy farmer, cow farmer, pizza owner, dry cleaner, And the dentists I've seen that work with a CPA that only does dentist or has, you know, a lot of dentist clients, they add 10 times more value than working with a CPA because he's your cousin Eddie's roommate, or you met him at church or whatever. This is so specialized that you need someone who really focuses on dentistry. That'd be a good list to
Right.
circulate.
Great.
How many of them do you have on that list?
I don't know off the top of my mind.
Would you mind sharing that, or is that some type of?
No, I don't mind sharing it. Not at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
email it to me too. Maybe we should even do a deal in the something, because I want these. I've seen so many examples where a dentist was working with a CPA, didn't know anything about dentistry, and then they
Right.
switch to someone who only does dentistry. Now they're talking to their consigliere, you know, who's saying, "Dude, look, I see 100 dentists. This number's too high. There's a red flag." And then they say things like, "You know what? I have 100 dentists, and everyone who takes these 3 PPOs have 12% higher overhead." You know what I mean? So let's go in there and do the math.
So we do all the book work that most CPOs don't like to do. We'll balance all your debits and credits. We'll balance all of your bills. We'll pay your bills if you want us to. And you can learn more about that at Dental Accounting. Plus, you get the EFT email sent to your biller. It's truly a product designed for dentists, by a dentist, to help our accounting. You know, ask dentists, when was the last time you had a profit and loss statement? I mean, most of them don't get it. They just print it off of Dentrix. And so it's important to get that and solve these problems once and for all.
Yeah, that is great. So, do you think that it's better to send one claim at a time or a batch? Or does it not matter?
Well, it depends on the insurance company, but we usually batch them, send them out, and as long as you're following up properly, every 14 days, usually you want to call in a claim just to double check to make sure it was received, make sure that they're not looking for any additional information. That's usually the problem that most office managers run into. They don't follow up on the claims regularly enough. So they might submit a claim and then follow up at day 60. And the insurance company will say, "Hey, we never received it," or "We're missing an attachment," or "We're not going to pay it." And then you're already, 45 days behind, and that's going to roll into an over 90. You got to avoid that.
One of the problems we're having now is that now some dental offices are doing medical claims. Are you doing any of the medical claims?
Absolutely. So we just spent 4 hours with Dr. Charles Blair, and he's releasing a new book about medical billing, to how to do it for dentistry, to help front office people bill, the ICD-10 codes. And what we found is that a lot of the Affordable Care Act medical plans / dental plans, and even some that aren't associated with that, are now requiring that a medical claim be processed first before a dentist processes the dental claim. Otherwise, they won't pay it. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why they're connected. The ADA has got to fix that. I don't understand. But we're seeing it, and so you have to do it. And so we actually we created a product. There's no monthly fee for it. There are a lot of competitors that will charge 3% or 6%. Usually it's 6% or 10% of what they collect from the medical claim. We don't charge any of that. We charge a flat rate of $25 to process the medical claim if your front office staff doesn't know how to do it. There's a small setup fee, but once you're growing, there's no monthly fee. As many claims as you want, no claims, it doesn't matter. We walk you through it. What makes the ICD-10 codes different is they require a diagnostic code as well as a procedure code. And the CDT codes only require a procedure code, right? So you've got to make sure your SOAP note is correct. We will walk your front office staff through the SOAP note process to make sure all the necessary medical SOAP notes are there for any medical claim that you might be doing. From even claims that are at a necessity you got to bill, but also claims that you can actually get paid by medical insurance companies. Sleep apnea devices. We have claims where we might process the sleep apnea device for $25, and you might get a $3,000 payment for it. We'll hold your hand and walk you through it, but there's lots of people doing that, but none in our price range. It's a lost leader for us, right? We just want dentists to make money and not have to sell out to DSOs. And any of these little barriers that are being put in our way, we've got to eliminate, and that's what we're trying to do with our dental medical billing product.
Of this front office task, when the incoming call, I call it the funnel, And when those incoming calls come, so many of them go to voicemail. Anytime someone's doing a study on dental office and they put in a call tracker, the dentist back there doing a root canal has no idea that half his calls go to voicemail. Half the voicemails are never even listened to, let alone return the phone call. There's 168 hours in a week, and only half the calls coming in are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. So half of these calls are coming in when you're not even open. And I just can't tell you how much more valuable it would be for Shirley to answer that call on the third ring and be able to talk to a cold call coming in. You look at these dental offices, and most of them have to have about 3.5 cold calls before one gets scheduled in the chair. And then the dentist has to tell 3 people they need a filling before one does the filling. So if you do back the math, so now I have to have 12 incoming calls to get 3 people to do a filling. I mean, it's just crazy. And I go into dental offices, and she's over there buried on the phone talking to Blue Cross and Blue Shield, verifying insurance and working all these claims and tasks and all this crazy stuff. And it's not their core competency.
And sometimes they're on hold for 40 minutes. And as soon as they start to talk to someone, the phone rings, or a patient needs a treatment plan. They have to hang up. And so it's not efficient. You got to pull it out of the office. Either figure out how to do it yourself or hire someone like us.
Now, are you verifying insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a beta product. We're verifying insurance for people. We don't have anyone overseas. There are some people that do that. We tried that route. I have some friends back from HBS that are there, but it doesn't work. We've got to have people here with dental experience that are American citizens in the States. And so we're beta testing that. We have a waiting list. We're adding people every month, very controlled, right? Whatever we do, we want to do it with excellence. We don't want it to be thrown out there and not work. So it's still under beta. If you want a verification, ask us about it when you call our number, and we can put you on the waiting list and go from there. But credentialing is important, right? Credentialing is not happening in a lot of the dental practices. It's amazing how that'll sneak up on you. You got to re-credential every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, depending on the insurance company, and someone's got to be able to do that.
Well, we'll talk about that. What does that mean, re-credentialing?
So an insurance company, in order for you to be a preferred provider, my practices, my two, and I'll share this, just so you understand that dentists, you can start your own practice. You don't have to buy someone else's. And my 2 practices are $2 million practices. I mean, they're in Utah, where our crowns are $600 and our fillings are $91. We figured it out. But in Utah, we have to sign up for PPOs. We never do DMOs. We don't do Medicaid. But everything here is a PPO. So in order for you to be credentialed, the insurance company has to accept you. And they have to reapply, or re-credential is what it's called, every so often, depending on the insurance plan. And you've got to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It usually takes 30 minutes sometimes less if you're efficient. But someone's got to be in charge of doing that. Otherwise, you'll all of a sudden get a letter saying, and your patients will get a letter. This has happened to us before in the past. You are no longer a provider. Don't go to that office anymore. Right? So, I know, Dr. Farran, you do it differently, and you have, a DMD practice and a PPO practice in the back, I remember. But I've always had mine PPO from the get-go. I was too afraid not to do anything away. And so everything I've built has been designed to help minimize the pain of a PPO practice, so you can make a great income by following this model, doing the right thing, only doing dentistry that's necessary, never doing anything unnecessary, but also providing the best service you possibly can at a higher volume too. So these kind of efficiencies, like having multiple people doing certain things, are necessary only if your practice gets big enough. And the only way to get it big enough is to start doing these hiring multiple people to do certain things. So we have associates here. We've got partners have been with me for 5-7 years. We're open 6 days a week. We market like how you suggested. It's been great.
So I'm gonna change gears completely. I want you to you got 6 kids. How old's your oldest kid?
19.
Okay, well let's boy or girl?
A boy, Luke.
Let's pretend Luke Skywalker just walked out of dental school. He's 25 years old. He's $350,000 of student loans. He just got a job at Aspen. And he's sitting there looking at Howard and James saying, God, someday I want to own my own office. So talk to him. He's 25. He's working at Aspen for $145 a year. And he wants to own his own office. How would you how would you lay down that yellow brick road so someday he could get to Emerald City and own it?
Okay, good question. And there's lots of ways to do this. And from my experience, this was my path. So for 1 year, I worked for an office, a gentleman a dentist up in Oregon. He became my mentor, Dr. Danny C., a Gen Tech dentist in Hillsboro. I was there for 1 year. I noticed that he had
In Oregon?
In Oregon, Hillsboro. Yep.
Are you Danny C.,
Yeah.
who owned Gentle Dental?
Yeah.
You worked for him.
I worked for him in his second practice.
I love that guy. I just love that guy. He starts
I
out
do
every
too.
morning for 1 hour doing meditation. I mean, he's just
Yeah,
a
great
heart.
guy.
Is he still
Well, he-
Gentle Dental? What's he doing these days?
Oh, he sold Gentle Dental, and he started another group practice that was just high end, no Medicaid, whatever, DMOs, like the model that I mimicked, called Gen Tech Dentist, and it was a combination of gentle dentistry and technology. So we did composites only, and we did the very best crowns, had lasers, and did the very best we could ever do. Had all the best equipment.
When's the last
That
time
was
you
the
talked
idea.
to him?
Oh, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, same here.
I haven't talked to him for a long time. But he was a great mentor to me, and his story is pretty motivational. Like he came from China on a one-way plane ticket to a land of opportunity he heard called America. He thought he wanted to be a physician, got accepted to, instead of medical school up in Oregon, to dental school, and then started one practice every single year, and sold 60 dental practices, I think, for like $60 million. And then he started this group of dental practices. And what he did was he built it big enough for had 7 operatories or 8. That's about 2,400 square feet. Building it big enough now so you're not trapped in a dental office. I mean, if you're the only guy there, brick by brick, you can't ever leave. Your vacation doesn't just cost you $4,000 to go to Disneyland or wherever you're going. It costs you the opportunity cost and all the money that you've left on the table for that week, right? So you got to build it big enough with that in mind. I'm always going to have another partner with me or an associate with me. I'm going to be the face of the dental practice. I'm not going to call it my name, like Anderson Dental. I'm not going to do that. I called mine Lakeview Dental. We got the Great Salt Lake right next door. So I mimicked what Danny C. taught me, and we started our dental practice with 7 operatories. I had 2 operatories, and we just started out. I accepted every PPO that was there, never Medicaid, never DMOs, but every PPO. And always watched my cost. I didn't let the dental supply companies convince me to buy a bunch of equipment that I didn't need. I started off with 2 operatories. And you can buy chairs, like very inexpensive chairs from China for like $1,800. And they'll ship them to Oregon. You got to go pick them up, right? Or they'll ship them to you for another couple $100. But you can buy, like hand pieces are $1,800. You can buy, instead of spending $15,000 on a chair, you can buy a Chinese chair for $18,000. Now, I bought some chairs out of California for $5,000. I do use electric hand pieces, but you can be very, 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 very smart with the money you spend from the get-go, and not. You can build a dental office for $250,000. And if you request your lease, like negotiating your lease is so important. You've got to ask for, in my opinion, at least $40 of leasehold improvement allowance when you negotiate that lease. And you might be able to get more, but don't settle for anything less than 40, because you're adding value to that person's property. I was too afraid when I built my dental practice to actually own the building and own the land, even though they were trying to sell it to me. I was $250,000 in debt, like what most of you are, if not more. Now I see $450, but I was in debt, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I spent a lot of sleepless nights, but capitalism does work. It's like you've never really seen capitalism work until you experiment with it. It does work. You provide a good service, and you care about people. Word gets out that you're the place to go, and in time, without really a lot of effort, just a lot of sweat and a lot of smiles and a lot of handshakes and a lot of caring, finding the best people you can possibly find. Things just seem to come together. You spend a lot of time on your knees too. That's awfully important. And you just do your best to be the best person you can be, so you can be as successful as you can be. So I would recommend for a new grad to go work for someone for a year. Now, I did that out of necessity because Matsco at the time, when Matsco was around, they weren't giving any money to any dentist unless you had at least years of experience. Now, I'm not sure now what it is. I think they were bought out by Bank of America.
It's still pretty much a year. They want a year.
Yeah. Okay. So go do it for a year. And if you feel like you need more experience, then do it for longer. But I'm a better dentist at year 2 and year 3 and year 4 than I was at year 1. That's for sure. And the mistakes you make when you're working for someone else don't hurt your reputation. They do hurt you when you have your own practice. But you reach a point where you just got to bite. You just got to bite it and take that leap of faith and jump across the goalie and leap before you look and just do it. So once you get your loan for your dental practice, minimize the budget. Try to keep it down to $250,000. That can be all digital too. Like you can use Open Dental software started by a classmate of mine at Oregon. Very inexpensive. You can use, like I said, you can buy inexpensive things online. One of the things that I absolutely love are the isolites. Dr. Farran, have you seen those? Have you used those?
Yeah, I love it because when you're 54, you just don't need magnification. You need a hell of a lot of light. And so I got that. It's amazing. It's perfect suction. It's perfect retraction. It's massive light. But what I love about it is when I'm using that, my assistant Jan can be entering the notes, closing the charts, doing this, returning a phone call. I mean, it's just why have a human stand there and retract the tongue and suction with no light? Yeah,
that's right. And you'll find your turnover drops dramatically. Like no one wants to leave my dental practice. The assistants don't because the other guy doesn't have an isolite. And they hate sucking the spit. And there have been assistants that I've let go who were really nice, really kind, really competent in all areas, except they could never figure out where to put the suction. Like they kept putting it in the wrong spot. Every dentist experiences that, right? Where the assistant just can't suction right. And by having an isolite, you eliminate all that problem. And plus, if someone shows up, is late or is sick, calls in sick, you don't have to cancel the day. You can still function.
Now, but I don't really controversial about isolite. There's a lot of realistic people who say an isolite around a molar is as good isolation as a rubber dam around the molar when you're doing an MOD composite. You agree or disagree with that?
I think it's better because nothing ever seeps up underneath the rubber. Like a rubber dam, sometimes you get a little seepage that comes up.
I know, but people are so pure. It's just like, do not use rubber dam. Bad. It's like
it's better.
Yeah,
it's better.
I agree.
It's why we don't you don't use punch cards anymore. You have a PC. I mean, it's innovation that we should all adopt. It is so much better. But you have an ice. But I wouldn't, Howard. I don't use the real isolites. I actually use the $2 disposables from Isolite, and we use a new one for every single patient. Right? We never reuse those. Don't ever try to do that, guys. So we use those. But I buy the $90 knockoff attachments that don't have a light because I put a little light on my head. Right? I wear that on my loops so I can see the light. And those isolites went bad. Like I bought 7 of them every practice, and they would go bad after a couple of years. The lights would go bad. That was my experience. So I buy the $99 knockoff things on eBay that connect to them, that have better suction anyway, and you stick those on your high-speed
Who do you buy those from?
It's on eBay. I can't remember. It's like the different person every time. There's like a couple entrepreneurs that are making them, and I just looked recently. They used to be $79, now they're $99. But they're very inexpensive. So if you're smart about how you build your dental practice, like I remember I really ticked off my Sullivan and Shine rep. He's like, he wanted me to spend $650,000. This was in 2004. I was like, no way, dude. I spent $330,000. That was too much. Finally, my last practice I did, was $200,000, and I did all the IT work myself. You can buy inexpensive computers from Dell. You can spend $6,000 on your computer setups if you use Open Dental, and you can equip 4 operatories right from the gate. Make sure you build at least 7 operatories that are plumbed, so you can have an associate. That way, and I hired my first associate within 8 months that I had been open. I remember I interviewed a guy who'd been a dentist for 45 years, or he was like at least 45 years, like I don't know. He was 65, 70, and he asked me, how long have you been in business? And I said, about a year. He said, you already want an associate? I was like, I understand bottlenecks, man. I don't want to be here. I want to be here every single day. And we can be open on Fridays and Saturdays, and I'll do a lot of those. And for the first 6 years, I was working dentistry 6 days a week because I was just worried that it wasn't going to work. But I had my associates come in. You reach a point where once if someone calls in and they can't, I brought my first hygienist in at month 6. But the last practices that I've done, I bring a hygienist in right from the get-go, so I am never doing teeth. I'm never cleaning people's teeth ever. Like I had a patient who in my main practice who told me she came back after a year, and she said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're no longer cleaning people's teeth." I said, "Why?" "Well, I never came back to you because I hated the way you clean my teeth. I wanted a hygienist." I was like, "Oh, Why in the world was I trying to save a buck by not bringing a hygienist in?
Okay,
I mean,
last question. I can't believe it's been an hour. Our hour is up, and I want one overtime question. Man, I tell you what is it about Utah? It is the new Silicon Valley of dentistry. I mean, it started off, 100 years ago with Gordon and Rella and CRA, Dan Fisher of Ultradent, Legend. Who's the guy at Arrowhead? Dick Barnes. He
yeah,
taught me how to cook rice in my kitchen. E-Assist Dental Solutions, Dentrix, Curve, Dental Intel, Dental Advisors, Dental Marketing Radio, Banyan, Social Dental, Whitecap Dental Implants, Dr. Demographics. It really is the epicenter. It's the Silicon Valley of dentistry. Do you agree with that or disagree?
Well, we call it Silicon Slopes around here. You got the ski slopes. So I absolutely agree. There's a spirit of entrepreneurism here in Utah. A very conservative state. We're very self-reliant. We want to promote that. And so there's always guys and women, men and women, that are trying to innovate and solve people's problems. And so it's very business friendly and a great climate. That's what we've done with E-Assist. Like all of our people, spirit of entrepreneurism we promoted throughout all of our people all over the country.
Have you ever made the drive from Salt Lake to Phoenix?
I've a lot of Southwest Airlines flights, but never made the drive.
I tell you what, you're cheating yourself flying Southwest Airlines. They call Gilbert and Mesa South Utah, and probably 10% or 15% of all my Mormon dentist friends. My dentist friends in Phoenix are Mormon. And one time we actually just drove it. That is the most beautiful country. You leave the desert, you go up in the mountains, you go around the Grand Canyon, you go through all these national monument parks, and then one of my friends actually is a snowbird, and she passed Salt Lake, but her home's in Canada, and what was it, Edmonton? It was straight north of Phoenix. Winnipeg is straight north of Phoenix, 1,000 miles. And she said that 1,000-mile drive from Phoenix straight north, 1,000 miles to Winnipeg, you literally half the time think you're on a different planet. It is truly God's country. It is so gorgeous. Do not fly Southwest Airlines at 30,000 feet and miss that view. It's a trip in and of itself. You wouldn't even have to have a destination. You could just drive here and fly back. It's that pretty.
Moab's pretty too down there. I know the Whitecap guys. PK Clark does a trip every once a year to go down. Takes a bunch of dentists. They go jeeping. It's beautiful country, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, congratulations. So it's not the Silicon Valley. It's Utah's the new Silicon Slopes for dentistry.
That's right, dentistry and all sorts of things.
Well, I like to say every one of those. You ever see Dick Barnes of Arrowhead?
Nope, I don't see him.
How about Dan Fisher of Ultradent?
Yep. Been to his facility a few times. Great guy.
How about Gordon and Rell at CRA?
Many times. Down at BYU. Great guy.
What about Dentrix? You ever go see those guys?
Yeah. And I just talked to the guys at Curve. Actually, Sullivan and Shine have actually approached us and want us to be a part of what they're doing with services, and we're still negotiating that. But it's good.
Do they want to buy you, or they just want you to interact with Dentrix?
It's up in the air right now, and they have not made any offers. They've reached out to us, and we're going to continue that conversation.
With Dentrix, Henry Shine's Dentrix.
Yeah, it's Dentrix, but no, we're never going to go exclusive to Dentrix. We'll never do that ever. We're open to everything. My goal is to solve dentist problems, no matter what software they're locked into. And
how's Curve doing? They're a cloud computing where you don't have to have the servers, right? You can just.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have like 1,600 users or 1,100 users. They told me. It's a really good idea, and you can really innovate with cloud software and make things even better. There's no reason why we have all these little add-ons. We can throw it all into a cloud software of some kind. But
what about Dental Intel? You talked to those boys?
No, I haven't talked to Dental Intel.
What about Dental Advisors?
Yes, Reese Harper's one of my good buddies. He's a great guy. He does the Dental Money podcast. I think you were on that once.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. He's down in Phoenix. He's down in Phoenix once a month because what percent of the people in Utah have family in Phoenix, Mesa?
I don't know. Quite a few.
Every one of my friends has family in Utah. Dental Marketing Radio. Who's that?
I don't know. I know they're in Utah. I know up in Heber area. I hear they're great guys.
They got a podcast, right?
Yeah, they got a podcast.
Right, and contact them. Banyan, what do you know about them? You see them?
Oh yeah, Tom's a great guy. I mean, they just did some VC funding. I don't know how many millions of dollars they just got
what's his
funded.
last name?
Tom Clark.
Yep, we podcast him. They're doing good.
Well, yeah, fantastic. Social dental guys.
Now, what was Banyan called before?
Socialdental.com.
And they changed it to Banyan.
Yeah, I told him that was a bad idea. I said it's a better idea. Social dental is a better concept, but the idea is he wants to move. I think the VC guys told him to move into different markets. I'm just guessing. They're doing more than just social dental. They're expanding everywhere. It's like a banyan tree in Hawaii.
And White Cap Dental Implants. That's
PK Clark. That's Tom's father. He taught me how to place implants. A good friend and a great mentor. A great guy. If you don't know how to place implants, go to his course in Heber, Utah. It's fantastic.
And where's Heber? Is that by Ogden or is that down south by Provo?
It's by Park City, so it's in between Salt Lake and Provo.
Okay, and then Dr. Demographics. Have you met him, Scott?
Yeah, I actually hired him when I built this dental practice in 2003, long before he moved down to Utah. But Scott McDonald, he's a great guy.
Yeah, demographics is important. If you don't believe demographics aren't important, then fine. Just go move to Afghanistan and practice for 20 years, then get back to me how that worked out for you.
Yeah, you'll make some serious mistakes. So spend that $1,000 or $700 and something for a new dentist and find out where you need to go before you build a dental office.
It's just the first thing you have to do, and 99% will skip the most important step.
Because they don't want to spend, and I did that too, Howard. I built a couple offices using demographics. Like, hey, I'll just go in front of Walmart's, and then I had some that weren't. We only did $330,000 our first year. I thought, okay, I gotta use dental demographics.
Well, I only found 2 people that do it, like Dr. Scott McDonald of Dr. Demographics. I did a podcast with him, and then this other guy, Real Score, and I sent like 20 emails to that guy. Please come on my show and talk about what you do. It's so important. And he hasn't come on. Some people
That's strange.
Well, they say the greatest fear in life is public speaking, but I've never been to a funeral where anybody said, well, at least he's not public speaking. But yeah, demographics, everything. Well, hey, seriously, thank you so much for all that you do for dentistry. It's this accounting, knowing your costs. It's so important, and I really, really appreciate it that you took a time out of your extremely busy day to come talk to my homies.
Hey, Dr. Farran, I really appreciate it. I always post on Dentaltown whenever we see dental billing issues that we're trying to solve. We give away the knowledge for free. We're just giving it away. We want your office managers to know how to do this better. We don't care if you use this or not. We just want dentists to have the satisfaction that we should get when we own our own dental practices. So we're trying our best to make it better. Well, I really appreciate your time.
I'm a big fan of your 154 posts, and I'm also very impressed that not only did you went to BYU's Marriott School of Management, you went to Harvard Business School. I mean, you're a cerebral guy. And most important, on behalf of my 4 sons, good luck with those 6 kids, because that's the most important.
It is. They're good guys and girls.
And on that note, I'm going to go shoot Ryan.
See ya.
Have a great day.
Running a dental office can be overwhelming. Success is dependent on more than providing excellent dental care. Often, dental offices struggle with out-of-control accounts receivable balances, EOB posting errors, and staff turnover. The doctor is producing more, but not collecting all that he or she should. Patient ledgers must be posted accurately, or else the practice will lose patients. Phones have to be answered, treatment plans accurately presented, and patients felt cared for. Someone must send claims, post accurate credits and adjustments, appeal denied claims, and manage accounts receivables. What happens if these tasks aren't done correctly, or in some cases, not done at all? What if the office manager doesn't have the time or skill to do all of this? Or what if the office manager leaves? Cash flow is unreliable, insurance billing collection crumbles, accounts receivable balances balloon, risk of employee embezzlement increases, and patient complaints pile up. The success of the dental office dwindles and is at great risk of failing. Fortunately, there is eAssist. eAssist Dental Billing is the nation's leading dental insurance billing service. They implement proven protocols to properly manage your claims and appeals, post EOBs, and eliminate your accounts receivable issues. So how does it work? Your eAssist specialist helps install a specialized scanner in your dental office. Then a secure virtual private network is created. All EOBs are scanned by your staff and stored on your server as searchable PDF documents. eAssist managers securely access your network to post all EOB payments and adjustments from your EOB scanned images. All claims are verified for accuracy and sent electronically with electronic attachments daily. Any denied insurance claims are appealed until paid. Accounts receivable balances are diligently followed up for payment. Daily activity reports are emailed to the doctor for accountability. The dental office now collects 100% of what is rightfully billed to insurance companies. The office manager now has the time to focus on the patients that are in the office and collecting payment from them at the time of treatment. She has time to verify insurance benefits, properly present accurate treatment plans, and discuss payment arrangements. She can answer the phone on the first ring. She has extra time to focus on keeping the schedule full and managing the staff. Knowing that she has an assistant sending claims, accurately posting credits and adjustments, appealing denied claims, and fighting for all of the receivables that are owed to the doctor, her stress level drops. She can even take a vacation, and the insurance collection mechanism continues running smoothly. The risk of embezzlement also diminishes because there are now multiple people looking at every payment and adjustment. Patients are no longer leaving the practice due to mistakes. The office thrives, and the dentist enjoys dentistry once again. eAssist Dental Billing. Collect more, produce more, motivate your staff.
Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. On a daily basis, dental offices strive to maintain a steady cash flow. However, the administrative demands needed to achieve this can leave a practice feeling overwhelmed. eAssist Dental Solutions is an expert billing service that can bring swift relief to practices experiencing the ache of impacted cash flow. Chief Executive Officer Dr. James Anderson and Chief Marketing Officer Sandy Odell Gutierrez are here to share the details. Welcome to you both.
It's nice to be here.
Thank you for having us, Kathy.
Sandy, could you please describe some of the problems that you encounter in the business of dentistry?
Sure. One of the main concerns that we hear from dentists nationwide is, are we collecting everything that we're producing? And we deal with the same problems that most businesses deal with, but it's a little more complicated because not only are we trying to collect from patients, we're trying to collect from the insurance companies. It takes a very highly skilled, trained person, a dental billing specialist, to follow up and make sure that the claims get paid. And once you find that person, life happens. They may be offered another position, they may move, and then you're facing turnover. It creates cash flow, and it really is a concern when you're trying to keep an office going and the stability.
Sure. So James, on a high level, can you please explain how eAssist Dental Solutions, how are you addressing these issues?
Dentists usually hire one office manager who is responsible for collecting the patient's portion, keeping the schedule full, answering the phone on the first ring, making sure the staff is all happy. So what we're doing is specializing our labor force. Most dental practices now are collecting 80% of what they collect is from the insurance. Most practices nationwide. 20% might be over the counter from patient portion. So if you're not collecting from the insurance company, if your front office person leaves, you have to hire the next person that comes in. You've got 2 weeks maybe to hire somebody, and that might not be the right fit. Otherwise, the backbone of your practice is going to break. So we're the backbone of the practice. We make sure that the insurance is always being collected. And if you don't have to hire the next person that comes in, you can be very picky to ensure that your dental practice always runs the way it's supposed to.
Well, let's hear how eAssist Dental Solutions is making a difference in this Worldwide Business Field Report.
For dental practices, it's a constant battle to maintain an efficient billing system that ensures that dentists are getting paid for 100% of their production. Collecting payment can be an arduous and time-consuming task. eAssist, a dental billing outsource service, sorts and processes every unique billing concern.
We outsourced our dental billing to eAssist because we wanted someone who was going to be 100% accountable for all of our dental insurance claims, someone who was going to have a vested interest in our business.
Dental billing is an area that tends to take my staff away from patients. Outsourcing it makes perfect sense. It works better taken out of the office where my staff can focus on patients.
The reason we decided to outsource our dental billing was twofold. We were having a lot of turnover in employees, and not only that, but we lack the infrastructure to be able to handle the claims. eAssist has helped streamline that for us.
Ultimately, our patients get what they need, they get it done, they get it dealt with, they go home, and then they're able to deal with eAssist, who can deal with their insurance on the back end, and it does not have to be one long day.
eAssist helped me overcome a huge hurdle of back-owed dental billing fees that hadn't been efficiently processed in my practice. We got partnered up with a young lady who's still our team member, and she was able to tell us what was wrong, what the plan was, calm our nerves. It was a huge relief to know that she was there helping to help us get out of that messy middle.
eAssist stood out because of their excellent customer interaction. We had better service and interaction with them from the front before we even signed up than with any other company.
eAssist guarantees proper electronic claims and electronic attachment submissions, ensures the accurate posting of EOB credits, and always updates and adjusts patient ledgers when necessary.
James, could you please tell us about eAssist Dental Solutions and what led to the creation?
I'm a practicing dentist. I enjoy dentistry, but I also enjoy the business of dentistry. I've started 9 dental practices. And the hardest part about building a dental practice is finding a front office person who knows how to do it all. They're superstars, and they're hard to find. I had one in my very first practice. After she left, I went through 6 different office managers trying to find a replacement for her. So I realized I was doing it wrong. I needed to add more people. I needed to find a way to allow them to work from home, remotely, securely, with a HIPAA-compliant VPN. So I brought 2 more people in, created those HIPAA-compliant networks, allowed them to access our information securely, and within 6 months, our receivables dropped back down to where they were before. But I also wanted a daily report, too, from them. I didn't want them just to do the work and then hope that they were still doing it because they're working from home. I wanted a detailed accounting every day of what they were doing from home. So I engineered software that automatically creates that. It tells us how many claims they appealed, what kind of problems they're running into, so I can manage the staff better, what my production is, what my collections are. It's automated and it's slick and it solves a lot of our problems. So I told a dental classmate about my issue and my solution, and he said, I have the same problem, can you help me? And I had an associate who used to work for me who said, I have the same issue, can you help me? I realized that I wasn't alone. So we re-engineered it so that it would function for anyone that had a dental practice. We didn't have to own it. We don't touch the money. The checks go to the office. They don't have to change their dental software. The checks are scanned when they arrive, the insurance checks. We then log into their system securely and post those checks. It's solved our problems. And we've grown it over 1,000% in the last 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And Sandy, what makes billing insurance so complicated?
There are thousands and thousands of insurance plans out there. Every plan has a different deductible, a different maximum. They pay at different percentage rates. Some insurance companies will pay for dental implants. Some insurance companies won't. Insurance companies will request extensive information to even consider getting a claim paid. Some insurance companies don't. So the real problem is there's not a consistent standard, and that's challenging for dental offices.
Right. And James, could you please share the benefits of outsourcing insurance billing compared to having an employee do it in-house?
If you're going to outsource it, it has to cost at least the same, if not less. It can't cost any more.
Right.
So we've engineered our system so it does cost about the same as you bringing someone else in-house. Now the advantage we have is that we're now managing that staff. You don't have to as a dentist. If there's turnover, we'll manage that turnover internally. If the staff members struggle with training, we'll make sure that we have the right people on the account that know what they're doing. And then finally, another advantage of outsourcing is that you have a multiple set of eyes looking at the patient's ledgers. So we're now looking at that, we're analyzing it, we're just keeping honest people honest.
And Sandy, do you help dentists get paid faster by the insurance company?
We do. We make sure that every claim is submitted within 24 hours with the required information to get that claim paid. So when we do that, we'll make sure that we post detailed claim status notes, such as the claim was received by the insurance company. Sometimes they're never even received, they get dropped, and the insurance company doesn't receive it. Is there additional information? Is there missing information that they need? We'll follow up and make sure the claim's being adjudicated. Has the claim been processed? If it's been paid, we note all of that. So now the office staff knows exactly what's going on with every claim.
James, can you please explain how your efforts benefit the front office staff?
We make the front office staff look really good. Our goal isn't to replace them, but it's to assist them. Doctors have assistants, hygienists sometimes have assistants. Front office now has e-assist to help them, hence the name.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that every patient that comes in has an excellent experience, that the front staff can focus on them, can know their name, can know their family, can build a relationship. Really, our focus is that we'll focus on the insurance part. The staff now can focus all their attention on the patients and collecting the patient copay. Together, combined, the synergy that's created there, offices make more money than they were before using e-assist.
That's excellent. And Sandy, could you please specify how your employees are different or more qualified than the typical dental front office assistant?
I don't think we're really different than the front office. We become a extension, a highly skilled and trained billing specialist within the office. So now we become part of their team. We work together. Our account managers, on average, have 13 plus years of dental training and experience. They really are experts in the field. And we've created a proprietary system that we actually screen people who apply for e-assist. And it's difficult to become an e-assist account manager. A lot of people apply and can't get through the screening the process because, again, we are specialists in the field.
And James, do you service private practice only or larger organizations as well?
Any organization that produces dentistry and builds an insurance company, we will help. So we have new dentists that contact us to help us even do some consulting to help them set up the billing part. We service medium-sized dental practices, large group practices, DSO practices. We have one practice that has 17 different offices. We handle all their centralized billing. We have hospitals on the East Coast and the West Coast that we service. Many hospitals don't realize this, but they do dentistry for free. There's an emergency, an oral surgeon might be there, they'll do some dentistry. They never bill the dental insurance, they'll bill the medical. And so we've found that they've reached out to us to help them pick up those dollars that's rightfully theirs.
Right. And Sandy, can you please tell us what other services besides dental billing that eAssist offers?
Sure. Along with our AR service, we offer a patient collection service. We also offer a dental accounting service. We offer a medical billing piece where we actually go in and we take the dental codes and we will submit them to the medical insurance for the patients, that's beneficial for the patients because now they're getting reimbursement for that along with the office. And we've also created a hospital billing service that we've launched.
James, how do these additional services benefit your clients?
My favorite service is the dental accounting service. I tried all different types of bookkeepers. I never had access to my QuickBooks data. So we switch all of our clients that use dental accounting, e-assist dental accounting, to QuickBooks Online. So they have access to their financials 24/7 whenever they want it. What makes us different than most accounting firms is that we've created software that interfaces with the dental software that clients use, our dentists use, Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, whatever, it doesn't matter what software you have, we can interface with any of it. And we take an API and we grab the QuickBooks information to ensure that the money that was posted to the patient's ledgers actually appeared in the bank account. The second service that I appreciate is billing medical claims. Our e-assist dental medical billing. There are certain procedures that dentists do that you can bill a medical claim for. Most dentists don't do that, don't know how to do it, the staff doesn't know how to do it. I'd even suggest that maybe 90% of the dentists in America are doing things that could be billed to patients' medical claims. It's difficult to do. Sometimes it takes an hour to process the claim. We do it for a nominal fee, very, very, very small, to ensure that the patients are properly being reimbursed for the insurance that they're paying for.
Here in Oklahoma, we have some particular billing laws that are a little bit different than other states. eAssist really worked hard to help learn those laws and implement them, even though it was different than a lot of their other practices. It took a little bit of effort on their part, but they walked us through the process and really helped us to succeed.
eAssist stood out to me. I felt really confident that they had a good understanding in terms of what was wrong and then also how they could fix it.
Our practice is highly benefited from being associated with eAssist. It's made the process easier, streamlined, so we're able to focus on patient care, things like that.
eAssist stood out from the rest of the dental billing insurances because there was going to be accountability. We had one person that we would go to for all claims, all follow-ups, and we knew that one person was going to get everything handled for us.
By outsourcing this, we're able to create a better patient experience and also save quite a bit as far as the cost associated with that patient experience.
We have found eAssist to be extremely beneficial to our practice to help us to focus on our customers directly and not have to focus on dealing with insurance companies and dental billing. I would recommend eAssist highly to other dentists who are considering adding that to their practice.
Sandy, will you please share how your dental clients, their office staff, and your accountant managers work together?
Of course. So when an office comes on board, sign up for eAssist, we assign a team leader. Basically, it's a project manager. And they're going to oversee the process. They're going to reach out within 24 hours to the office to introduce themselves. They're going to put together a team of people. And our IT team is in the background. They're doing all the hardware, software, making sure we have secure HIPAA-compliant connections. We set up a kickoff call, and that's when we answer any questions or concerns the office has at that point, and we're ready to hit the floor running. When we do that, we communicate with the office at that point. We start sending the claims immediately. We're sending a daily, a weekly, and a monthly report, and letting the office know what the status is on every claim that we're working on. We're basically just like being one of your office employees, but we're sitting there not right next to you, but we're right there supporting you.
And James, what are dentists saying about your business?
We are the nation's leader in dental billing services. It's a unique paradigm change. I had one consultant who told me that this is a unique concept that's been needed in dentistry for years, where we can actually now, instead of just talking about what an office needs to do to solve their problems, we'll talk about it, but then we'll do it for a nominal fee over and over again, month after month after month. So the reason why they stay with us is because we pay for ourselves. We don't have any contracts. It's just month to month. If the client is making more money using our service than they were before, they'll keep us. Our retention rate's very high. We solve issues. Dentists actually enjoy practicing dentistry again, knowing that they don't have to worry about the insurance collections and whether or not it's going to work next month.
Sandy, what's most rewarding to you about this work?
Kathy, I think the thing that's most rewarding for me is going in and dentists who truly want to practice dentistry and don't sleep at night because they're concerned if they're going to be able to keep the doors open and pay the rent. Going in and knowing that there's somebody there on a consistent basis who's going to make sure that those claims are being sent out, that they're being followed up on, and that there's going to be a consistent cash flow in the office. And that's what's rewarding to me.
James, as we come to a close, could you please tell us how an office that's interested in using eAssist Dental Solutions should proceed?
It's really simple. You dial 1-844-eAssist. We have account managers that are standing by. They're not salespeople. They actually are account managers that work at dental offices, clients that we have of ours. They'll know exactly what questions to ask to see whether or not you're qualified as a candidate. And 80% of the practices we can. There are some that we can't. And those that we can't, we have consultants that we can refer you to. We want to make sure we get you in a place where we can help you. You have to have certain mechanisms running properly before we can come in and make it even better.
Well, James and Sandy, it certainly sounds like eAssist Dental Solutions can extract the complexities of billing and free up a dental practice to just focus on their patients. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
For Worldwide Business, I'm Kathy Ireland. Thank you for watching.
With Dr. James Anderson, CEO, and Sandy Gutierrez, CMO of eAssist Dental Solutions. Congratulations on your Inc. 500 placement. That's wonderful.
Thanks, JC. We're excited about it too.
Well, that's wonderful. We're very happy to have you here and talk to you a little bit about your company today. So first, Dr. Anderson, please tell me a little bit about what eAssist Dental Solutions is.
We are the nation's largest dental billing service company. It was something that was started by out of necessity for my own needs. I've started 9 dental practices, so I'm a practicing dentist. And the biggest issue we had over and over again was finding someone that could actually handle all the billing. You can find someone that that can usually manage staff, but to also know how to bill EOBs, post EOBs, bill insurance companies, follow up with all of the claims that are outstanding, all the while keeping the schedule full and making sure that people don't cancel their appointments, making sure that patients pay their copay at the time of service, and then manage the personalities in a dental office. It's hard to find a combination of all those skills. So if you buy a dental practice, it's different. That person might already be there. But when you start a dental practice, that's an issue. And so we created a solution to solve our own problems. And then I had classmates and I had friends that said, hey, we have the same issue. Our office manager just went on maternity leave. We don't know what to do. The insurance money has to keep coming in. And then another one said, our office manager just quit. We don't know what to do. Or we're too busy and our office manager needs help. Can you help us? We need systems we need to find a way to solve this problem. So we found a way to, I don't want to say sell it, but allow others to use it besides just us internally at a price that's less expensive than if they were to do it themselves. With checks and measures and reports to help them know that we're actually doing work every single day.
Very cool. And Sandy, what sets you apart from any other dental billing company in the industry?
Well, I think one of the main things is that Dr. Anderson creating it, being a practicing dentist, is so important because he understands the concerns, the issues, trying to bill insurance companies, trying to collect what's rightfully yours as a dental office. And not only with the insurance, but in the patient portion too. It's hard to find that balance between being a collector for an office and keeping patients happy. Most patients will leave a dental practice because of the billing, and trying to maintain that relationship is so important, and being able to focus and do that really has made a difference.
I actually had patients who said, I love your office, Dr. Anderson. This is before we had eAssist and before we created this, but your billing's all messed up. And I would ask, what do you mean? Well, and my friend had the same problem where whenever I call in for a billing question, the person at the front just says, oh, our mistake, we'll write it off. And there was a box of EOBs always under her desk, unorganized. I'm like, I'd walk by that and go, how do you use those EOBs? I don't understand how you... But money was coming in, and so I didn't want to wreck it, or, but then when this office manager left, I realized we had some fundamental issues in my own main practice. And so we found a way to solve all that problem. Broke it down into processes. And what makes, to answer your question, you said to Sandy, you asked her, what makes eAssist different than other billing companies? Well, there really aren't other billing companies. There's lots of medical billing companies, but we're the pioneers in this industry. Because dentistry is unique. The margins are very low compared to medical billing. Your billers have to be inside your office as if they're an employee of your office. And so we found a way to use software to make it fully HIPAA compliant, allow us to go in and become a team member, and be embedded in your practice. We're the backbone of the dental practice. We have the very best billers around the country. They are people that they don't just work in one location. I mean, we tried at first when we started doing it. We because to solve my own problem, we had multiple people in our office, and we rented out a space and had 10 dental billers all in one location, and it didn't work. It didn't work.
It didn't. There weren't enough specialized billers in one central location to make that happen. There was a lot of training that needed to be done, where we've created the proprietary vetting and training system, and we have the best of the best.
Yeah, well, that was part of the problem. This is why dentists struggle with this. Because usually if their office manager leaves or they've started a new practice, the really good people in a smaller community or even a larger community that have this skill are already working for a dental practice. The ones that don't have it very well are the ones looking for a job, unless there's new people moving in, right?
Yes.
So by having, so we redesigned it and rethought it, and we created a way so that we could find people from all over the country, and they're all in America. They're not in foreign,
not outsourced.
Not outsourced to foreign countries. They all English-speaking American citizens, and they're all in America in all 50 states. We have some people that work in Hawaii and everywhere. But they work from their home offices, fully HIPAA compliant home offices. Don't be scared by that. It actually is the right way to do it. So we can find the very best people that go through our screening tests. And it's very, very difficult to pass. Very difficult. The pass rate's extremely low, which is good for us. It screens out people that really don't know what they're doing. Sometimes people have been in I got a phone call once from a dentist who said, I think your company is, this is when we were first starting out like 5 years ago, I don't think your company is just a joke. I teach radiology at a university, and I didn't pass your radiology test. And I remember going back in and looking at his scores, and he missed some claim questions, and he missed some radiology questions. And I even sent him the keys, the only time I've ever done that. Because I wanted to prove to him, hey, this is legitimate, you missed this. And so at first, 5 years ago, people didn't think, they thought this was too good of an opportunity. You could actually work from home doing dental billing.
Thought it was a scam?
Yeah, we're not. And we are the best because of all the people that make it that way.
Very cool. Is dental billing the only service you provide to these offices, or do you have other expertise you provide to them?
We have additional services that we've expanded, and we've expanded as needed from the offices that we're working with. They've decided that eAssist truly is a specialized company in billing, and what else can you help us with? Right. So we've branched out, we've created a patient AR billing service, which is great. So we call the patients, we send out the statements, we do it consistently because the office is so busy and caught up in the whirlwind of the day that gets dropped through the cracks, and sometimes they don't go out consistently. So we follow up on that.
And part of that now too is we've modified that because there's a huge demand, huge need to have patients actually, when they call the dental office, customers of our patient billing service here in Q1 of 2017, those patients won't have to call the dental offices anymore and bother the staff that is busy doing whatever they're doing. This is in beta right now, and so not all of our clients are using this yet, but it'll be released here, like I said, soon. They actually will call a dental billing phone number for the billing for the dental practice. It'll go on the invoices. If they call the office can just say, oh, call our billing department, here's the number. And then one of our people will look at it, one of the account managers will look at it, will answer the question, call the patient back using a caller ID that's traced to the dental office area code and local numbers so that it appears as if it's coming right from their office.
We're basically an extension.
An extension, which I think is the one thing every office manager hates, receiving those phone calls.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And so it's for them, getting that call and being able to send it to eAssist, which we are a part of their team, an extension, and we have all that detailed information, so it's much easier for us to answer it for them. And it's more accurate. A lot of times the front desk receptionist, she may be new, she's still training, and the patient just wants to know, how come I have this balance? She doesn't understand how to read the ledger, or she doesn't understand the EOB, or why the insurance didn't pay. We have all that information, so it's a natural process for us to be able to take that on and do it. So that's a real exciting piece that we're adding on.
But I want to emphasize this. The reason why I got the Inc. 500 award was because of our core business. I mean, growing over 1,000% growth rate, doing dental billing for people, and these extra add-ons make it even easier for people. So this is, we're very proud of this, and all the people, all the account managers, account executives that allow this to happen. But you asked about
additional services.
Additional services, that's right. So we have dental accounting too. So often dentists don't balance their EFT deposits that come in to their Dentrix or EagleSoft or Open Dental software. They just hope that the EFT actually made it into the bank, and they don't want to give the bank access information to the office manager, worrying about seeing how much money the dentist might be bringing in or not bringing in. In our cases, our clients bring in a lot, right? So we want to keep that separate from the office manager. So we send out an automated email from our software that we move everybody to QuickBooks Online, and then we have some APIs from our software that goes and grabs the information and then pushes an email out so they know what EFTs actually hit the bank account. And then the office manager, even if they're not using our dental billing core service, can post the EOBs from the EFTs knowing that they've been actually processed into the bank.
And they balance the software. Whatever practice management software that the dental office is using, it doesn't matter. We're going to take that information and balance it with the bank statement. So it's nice to have that. Most offices don't do it. They just hope that it's happening.
Yeah.
And then
it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Often it doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, there's some horror stories too. Times where bills were actually sent to a pharmacy across the street. Or not bills, but checks. And then EFT checks can go into those. Sometimes you have an associate that's in your practice and also working in another practice. Every office manager knows this happens. You get, sometimes you get those checks, and sometimes that other dental practice gets those doctor's checks. The dental insurance companies don't really care. You got someone just pushing out papers, and they see a name, and they recognize a name, and we're not their customers, the patients are. And so you have to be able to go and get that stuff.
And the accountants, whoever's doing the accounting for the dental office, typically doesn't even look at the practice management deposit slip. They just balance from what is posted in the bank.
Yeah, all dental accounting companies are like that.
So
they don't.
It's huge. This is a huge piece for the dental office.
It's like we have to solve our own problem. This is another solution
Great checks and
to what we're
balances.
doing.
Very cool.
And then verification of the verification piece, because patients, a lot of times they'll come into the dental office and they assume they have dental insurance. Right now, the first of the year coming up, patients really feel that I've got insurance. They really don't worry about it. They don't read all of the forms that come in. They just know that they have dental insurance. And the office is assuming that they still have the same insurance. Maybe they did last year. Go ahead, they'll bill the insurance, they do all the work, and all of a sudden the insurance doesn't pay, and there's a $700, $800 balance because the insurance didn't pay. The patient is upset at the dental office. Why didn't it pay? Well, you're not even covered by that insurance any longer. The patient didn't know. The office wasn't aware. So verifying that is so important, because then we know the patient is covered with insurance, what it's going to pay. We can give them the information up front. So, and that's helpful to the patients, not only for the office, but the patient. So it's a win-win. So the insurance verification piece is exciting. And I love the medical billing that we're doing now.
That's the last piece. So the dentists, we often will do medical procedures, sleep apnea devices, some wisdom teeth extraction, some implants that can be billed to medical insurance. But very few office managers know how to do that. It takes a long time, too, an hour to process an ICD-10 claim. It's different than processing an ADA form claim.
Different piece.
And so for a very flat rate, for minimal rate, we don't take a percentage, it's a very small rate. We'll do that work, we'll process it all, and sometimes the insurance will pay, sometimes they won't, sometimes there's a deductible that has to be met where they won't pay, but your patients want to at least process it to help lower their deductible for any of their medical emergencies. So you're providing, not only are you providing an opportunity for you to make a couple $1,000s off a sleep apnea device through medical payments, but you also are helping the patient lower their deductible for the next time around.
Yep, patients love that. It's a win-win.
So if someone is interested in your services, where should they go to find out how to contact you and move forward?
Okay, it's very simple, dentalbilling.com, or call 1-844-E-ASSIST. We've got sales crews standing by.
That are actually account managers. So they're going to be able to answer all the questions that you have. How does this work? What can you help? They'll give us the specific problems related to their own practice, and we can help them solve that. So it's exciting. So
you have to be digital, completely paperless, and we can help you become that way with some of our partners. Dr. Levin, the digital dentist, we've sort of partnered with him, and he'll do that for us, for our clients that are potential leads that are coming in. But it's important to have the foundation in place. Okay, so the patients, the customers, it's really simple to get going. There isn't a setup fee. We pay, they do put a deposit down for a scanner. And we usually have them going within 14 to 21 days, as long as systems are in place. But part of what we do is help analyze the office and look at what's going on and what kind of problems they have, and then help them fix those problems too. It's like free consulting. The consultant actually does the work instead of just tells you about it.
We're always educating them on the process, and there's no long-term contract. It's month to month. So
I'm a dentist. I hate those long-term contracts. No, I don't.
Yeah, we want to be a benefit for your
earn their
office.
business every single month.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like it's a very exciting time here at eAssist Dental Solutions, and congratulations again on your Inc. 500 placement. That's absolutely wonderful.
Right, we're number 337.
337 out of, and it's a total of 5,000 people as well as a 500 list. Is that correct?
That's right. They break it down into 500 lists.
So you guys even made that Inc. 500.
Yeah, Inc.
Wow, that is
500 list.
wonderful. So congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for being here today and chatting with me.
Appreciate it, JC.
Thanks for having us, JC.
Of course.